welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to show you guys my makeup tutorial for today because I've gotten a lot of comments recently saying I look like Cami Mendez, who is the actress who plays Veronica Lodge in the Riverdale series. First of all, I'm obsessed with the series. I've always loved the comics since I was a kid and I really am enjoying the TV show. So I thought it'd be a fun challenge to try to do my makeup just like Veronica Lodge or Cami Mendez. We already have some eerily similar features. Like I feel like our nose shape is very similar. Same with like the way our mouths are shaped, our face shape. We both have hooded eyes. The only thing that was a stretch for me was trying to do the brow shape because her brows come out farther than mine do. They're more curved and they also come in farther too. But overall, I love how it turned out and I'm super excited to share with you guys my Veronica Lodge makeup tutorial. So for starters, I feel like I'm not shooting a makeup tutorial. I feel like I'm ready to run for like 8th grade class president, but I feel like this is pretty Veronica Lodge. She definitely has more of a preppy style than even I would have, but I kind of digging this look. So first off, I noticed that a lot of her pictures and even the videos, her skin is very dewy. It's a very minimalistic makeup look, which is super great. I feel like you could actually wear this to school. Her skin is super dewy and glowy, so what I'm going to do first is prime my face with a very hydrating primer. The primer I'm using today is the Laura Mercier Foundation Primer in the Radiance. This is a huge size of a primer, mainly because I used to work as a freelance makeup artist, and so this was part of my kit. So what I'm going to do is take that primer, squeeze some of that onto the back of my hand, and just apply that to my face. And then I will blend that into my skin with my beauty blender. For any redness or any areas I tend to get a little bit more oily, I will use my Hourglass Foundation Primer as well. And then I always recommend setting your primer with a setting spray just to lock it in before you put on your foundation. This will ensure that your primer will help last longer and also keep your foundation lasting longer too. For my foundation today, I will be using the Giorgio Armani Luminous Silk Foundation. This is my all-time favorite foundation. I only use it for special events because it is kind of pricey, but I feel like it makes my skin look so dewy and so flawless. It's my favorite. Another good one that you could use from the drugstore too, if this is out of your budget, you could always do the the L'Oreal Lumi foundation. That one's very comparable to this one. What I like to do is take a couple pumps on the back of my hand and then I will place little dots along my face. And then I will dip my beauty blender into the remaining amount of product. And I will use my beauty blender just to lightly press this into my skin. If you guys could not tell, this is definitely my summer color, so I'm gonna have to put a little bit on my neck as well. You know what, the sun doesn't shine in Seattle for like 9 months out of the year, so I'm a little bit pale right now. That's how we convince people we're not all vampires. I know, like, forks give us a bad rap. To warm up my skin a little bit more, I'm taking my foundation stick from Makeup Forever. It is also in my summer shade, so I will be using this along the contours of my face to help give my skin a little bit more warmth and depth. A tip to help make your cream foundation blend a little bit better is I always take a little bit on my beauty blender before I blend it in. Even though I put some on my skin to begin with, I just feel like it helps blend it a little bit easier. To help prevent my face from looking super flat, I'm also going to take my concealer. This is the Naked Skin Concealer from Urban Decay and place it right underneath my eyes and in any like trouble spots I might have with acne. I'll be lightly dusting a setting spray all over my face too. I've noticed that in pictures and in videos too of Cami, her face still looks really dewy, so you don't want to over mattify it by putting on too much setting powder. So I'll take a setting powder like this one from Giorgio Armani on a big fluffy brush and just lightly dust that over my face. That way it will help with creasing so your makeup doesn't crease throughout the day, but it won't overly set it so it looks dry. I've noticed that Cami does not have any sort of contour, but she does have a nice subtle contour to her cheeks. So what I'm going to do is use my favorite bronzer from Benefit. It is the Hoola bronzer. I feel like everyone uses this bronzer. I'm going to lightly dust this along my cheekbones. I'll also take a small amount of this on my forehead as well, but the overall goal is to make this a very subtle bronze. Cami's version of Veronica doesn't wear a ton of blush, so what I'm going to do is take this blush here from NYX. It is in the shade Amber. I'm going to lightly press this onto my cheeks. I'm going to make sure I'm very light-handed with this and not taking a ton of this product. I would still like to add a little bit of highlight, even though, again, Veronica Lodge does not have a beaming highlight. So what I'm going to do is take my new highlight from the balm. It's the Mary Luminizer balm that I feel like everyone raves about. And I'm going to take the smallest amount of this on my Thrive brush, just their highlighting brush, and lightly dust this onto my cheeks, my cupid's bow, chin, nose, and around my temples as well. Again, you want to look dewy, but you don't want to look over highlighted. I will take the smallest amount of this highlight and press it right onto the tip of my nose. This will kind of give the illusion of a button nose, similar to how Cami Mendez' nose looks. Her nose is very similar to mine, I would say, but her nose definitely looks a little bit more like a button nose than mine does. Now it's time for the fun part of this tutorial, which is the brows. I feel like Cami's brows are definitely what makes her stand out. It makes her look iconic. I don't remember Veronica having big, bushy, bold brows in the comic series, but I feel like it definitely adds to the Veronica Lodge look for the TV show. So what I'm going to do today is try to mimic Cami's brows, even though they look a little bit different from my brow shape. And it can be tricky trying to change your brow shape, so I'll be sure to show you guys all of the steps and my tips along the way. To create brows, I like using 2 different brow products. You could also use like the brow pencil from NYX as well. I've used that in the past and I've loved it. What's great about these 2 different products from Benefit though is this brow pencil is the Precisely My Brow Pencil, has a very fine and tiny tip, so you can use this to kind of create brow hair like strokes, whereas the Goof Proof Brow Pencil is really nice. It's more of a thicker stick, and so it's easier to just quickly fill in your brows with this. So if I'm going to fill in my brows and I'm in a hurry, I would typically use this, but since I want to create the look of brows, I will be taking more time with my brows and using the Precisely My Brow Pencil as well. First, I'm going to start thickening the brows I already have by using a brow gel. This is the one from Laura Mercier. I believe they discontinued it. It was my favorite though. And I'm just going to run these through my brows, or lack thereof. Using any sort of brow gel will really help your brows look natural and big and fluffy. So even if you already have fluffy brows, you might only want to do this step. For me, since my brows are a little sparse and I want to create bigger brows, I'm going to also use the brow pencil products as well. I'm going to use the Goof Proof Brow Pencil as my base. I'm also using the shade 6. I do naturally have darker colored hair, so this works for my shade range. So I'm going to start by lightly drawing this product on. If you mess up at all, you can always use the spoolie on the other end of the brush to kind of erase any mistakes. I'll be using this photo as Cami as a reference. So you can tell her brows don't really have any sort of arch, so they're not super dramatic. They are a little bit longer, like they take a little while to arch, so I'll probably draw my arch on like right back here, and I will bring them forward a little bit. As you can tell, like where they sit on her face, her brows almost sit right here. So I'm trying to curve my brows more instead of making them very pointy and defined, since her brows have a nice curve to them. I'm really using the side of the brush to make sure my strokes are very soft, and then brushing them out when I need to. When looking at the reference picture too, her brows kind of go in. They don't go straight up, they kind of go in, if that makes sense. Like they're curved all around, they're curved even through here. So what I'm going to do is make sure that my brows do not go straight up, but they kind of are a little bit longer in the front, and they curve back. So once I've kind of started to get my shape down, I take my smaller brow pencil to add in those brow-like strokes. So as you can tell, I have dramatically changed my brows, and then I will do the other one off camera. Another thing I noticed too when doing my brows, again, this looks very dramatic because I never do my brows like this, but her brows naturally will droop down a little bit. They're more curved, and they're longer than mine, and they will droop down a little bit too. So this does look weird on me because I don't have my brows go in this far, and my brows don't naturally go in this far, but I promise once we put on some lips and some eyeshadow, it'll look a lot better. For my eyeshadow, I will be using the Modern Renaissance palette. Honestly, you could probably use any palette. I've noticed that her eyeshadow is very natural, very light. She only uses more neutral warm tones. She doesn't use any crazy colors. So if you find any sort of brown tones that you really like, that are a little bit warmer, I would use that, and a lot of palettes have that. I'll be using both raw sienna and a little bit of cypress umber, so I'll be concentrating the darker colors like right through here, and she does keep it light on her main lid area. So just taking a fluffy brush, I'm going to pick out that raw sienna color and a little bit of burnt orange, and just start to work that into my crease to add some depth. I've noticed that she tends to bring her eyeshadow all the way in too, so I will be doing that as well. And I will take the smallest hint of the Cypress Umbra's darker brown color in the outside of my eyes, because she never has like a smoky eye, but she does have a small amount of definition. So I'm just kind of pressing that on, and then I will blend that out with the fluffy brush. To help brighten my lid shade, I'm just taking the Tempera shade It's like this light white color here, and just placing that on the inner corners of my lid. For eyeliner, I've noticed that she'll do something very simple, nothing crazy, just like a simple black liquid liner, so that's what I'm going to do today too. For mascara today, I will be using the Bad Gal Bank mascara from Benefit. It's their new mascara, but since my lashes aren't as long as Cami's, I will also be going with false lashes as well. Alright, now that my lashes are on, I did go back in and add some brow powder. I used more of a black shade just in these outer areas because I noticed my brows still were not as dark as Cami's. So now what I'm going to do is go in with lip liner and lipstick. I've noticed in the TV show that Veronica wears either a nude lip or she wears sometimes more of a berry lip, but her lip isn't completely like pink. It's more of either like a more berry undertones. So what I'm going to do today is use this lip liner from Nye is in the shade Salsa, and I'm also using this lipstick. It is from Thrive Cosmetics and it's in the shade Aquila. I'll use a little bit of setting spray just to finish that off and seal in the makeup, and this is the finished look. So thank you guys so much for watching. I had so much fun doing this tutorial. I feel like it was pretty easy because she is still in high school in the show, Veronica is, and her makeup is still very natural, and this is something you could wear to school. This is very light and I feel like this looks good. You could wear it to work. I feel like this is a very everyday look and you could wear it in a professional setting or for a night out. It's very wearable, and yeah, I had a lot of fun doing this tutorial. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.